The Steam Next Fest is a celebration of upcoming games featuring demos from all sorts of different developers. Developers of all sizes join in the Next Fest, and while most of the developers you see are indies, sometimes you'll see AAA developers, like in this case, Capcom. And I've covered the Next Fest for quite a few years now, but over the years the Next Fests have gotten bigger and bigger. And truth be told, I don't know if I can cover every good demo, or every demo that I think people would like. And I've enlisted the help of some of my fellow content creators, friends of the channel, here on my quest to find the best Next Fest demos. If you like this video or any other video I've made, please like, subscribe, and share with all of your friends. Spreading the good gospel of high-tech lowlife really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. Furthermore, I and two other content creators run a podcast called Off the Console. It's a podcast run by me, Bryant, and Games Revealed, and we talk about all things gaming, tech news, and much, much more. On top of that, though, we also run special episodes with special guests. And of course, you can listen to us on any of your podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or heck, even YouTube. So do check us out if you want more of us.
Hey everybody, this is Russ from RetroGameCorps. I've been playing a bunch of games for Steam's Next Fest, but there are two in particular I want to talk about today. Let's start with Titanium Court, and the first thing you're going to notice is just how this game looks altogether. It looks like a game that was created 40 years ago, and I love this overall aesthetic, just keeping it down to just a few different colors and giving it a more pixelated quality. At first, the game looks like a match 3 puzzle game, but it's actually a pretty deep strategy game underneath it once you get past that first layer. It also has a quirky narrative with a lot of fun humor, and so I've really just enjoyed reading through the progress of this game. It kind of reminds me of Puzzle Quest about 10 or 15 years ago. That was a game I played a lot back in the day too, where it kind of felt like a match 3 but had more going on, and this is very much so like that. Another game that surprised me is Grind Survivors. I've played a lot of these Survivors-like games over the years. I've been a little bit burnt out, but this one is actually a lot of fun. I think what separates this one for me is that it's more gun-oriented, and you can also use it with twin sticks if you would like in the settings, so it kind of has a Robotron feel to it. It's got a lot of the same elements you would expect from a game like this, so it's got a ton of enemies that'll just kind of keep coming after you, and you can also level up with different jewels which give you XP. One interesting thing I found is that there are some perks that you can choose which will allow you to have additional XP with specific gems. So instead of just dropping the regular one, you have a chance to get a purple gem instead, and so you can level up faster. A lot of these games do have leveling up mechanics like that, but I thought it was unique to put it inside of the jewel as opposed to just having it a random percentage point. Either way, those are the two games that I thought were the most interesting to share, and I hope you enjoy them too.
Hey everybody, it's your friend and your guy, Gardner. I'm here because High-Tech asked me to make a short video highlighting a demo from Steam Next Fest, and I'm very excited about this because we have a terrific game that I found during the Next Fest. Hopefully no one else is doing this game. I think that it's really cool. Check it out. It's called Wanderberg, and it kind of reminds me of something like Vampire Survivors, but with like castles on wheels. It's weird, but it's cool. Wanderberg is quite fun. It's a fun game where you play as a siege engine, and you need to like destroy your enemies. I'm just gonna play a little bit and give you some color commentary real fast. So basically, you play as this little siege engine, and the controls took me a little while to get used to, but essentially you just push on the analog stick in the direction you want to move, and there's that opening in the front where you can like run over things in the environment, and you earn coins from doing so. And there are enemies on the field. So if we go down here to this question mark, you can see that there are guys, and those arrows will hurt me. And so we just want to run these guys over. And as soon as we earn enough coins, as you can see in the top there, just above where it says buy, when you earn that many coins, you actually get the ability to upgrade some of your equipment. At this point, I only have cannons, so we can adjust the cooldown, we can adjust the damage output, or we can adjust the damage output, apparently. So I'm gonna do the cooldown because it will increase the rate of fire, and it will increase its ability. I'm not sure what ability means at this point, but I'm gonna do this one. And as we run these guys down, we'll see I am earning coins. You also see down at the bottom of the screen there that there are some abilities. Well, I just got another upgrade here. I'm gonna increase the number of archers that I have on top. And now if I hit B, it's actually going to engage this ability. You can see I just dropped a bunch of coins up here. I'm gonna take these guys out, grab, and I'm gonna grab all these coins. Now the goal is to get that treasure box that's on top of this siege engine that I'm attacking here, and you can see the health. Well, let's upgrade here. We're gonna do ram, mortar, or mine layer. I'm going to choose the mortar because it does a lot of damage. Also, I just earned a new artifact, which lets me upgrade my siege engine. So we can do running shoes. When you boost, your friendly units also accelerate. We have electric arrow. Every 100th arrow has chain lightning, which is pretty neat. Or we can do bumper, which adds extra melee damage based on speed. I'm going to do electric arrow. Why not? Now, the mortar, you can see the mortar like actually does a lot of damage, which is really nice. Man, I'm getting roasted here. I need to find some health. That's what I need to do. I really like the mortar. Oh no, I died. But that's the game. It's really fun. It's got a very simple and obvious feedback loop, one that is very reminiscent of something like Vampire Survivors, which is a game that I have become quite addicted to the point where I don't play it anymore because if I do, I don't get any work done. And this thankfully is still in a demo stage, obviously as part of the Next Fest. So it's limited to like one level, I think, at this point. It is super enjoyable, and yeah, it's a game that I've added to my wish list. Thank you to High-Tech for inviting me to participate here. And you can check out my podcast that I do with High-Tech and Games Revealed over at Off the Console. And you can also check out my website, GardnerBryant.com.
What's good, gang? My name is Rich, aka Fan to Deck, and I've really been enjoying Next Fest February 2026. In fact, I want to tell you about the two demos I've been enjoying the most during this Next Fest. The first is called, and I'm going to try my best to pronounce this, I believe it's called If, as in egg in French. And that's because this is a marble platformer game, but instead of being a marble, you play as an egg and you have to deal with the egg physics. That makes the gameplay a little bit awkward, kind of like a Fadian game, like Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, but it's not nearly as punishing as those games. It's just a similar awkwardness where you have to sort of figure out the mechanics of your own body and try to navigate that. The egg kind of tilts and rotates as you move, and you're going to want to sort of line up how you've rotated your egg so that you can move forward, and then you're going to have to deal with physics-based weight and momentum as you're rattling downhill or things like that. Now, this game is made by a developer named Stephen Lavelle, probably better known as Ink Repair. He is a prolific experimental game developer. He's made over 500 games since 2004. He created the puzzle script engine, and he's probably best known for Steven's Sausage Roll. He makes a lot of conceptual and inventive games, and this is no different. In this case, like I said, it is not nearly as hard as a Fadian game. It's kind of atypical from your Rage platformer. It has this calm and rainy atmosphere. There's no enemies, no timers. It's all focused on exploration, and there's a single continuous world with a generous placing of checkpoints. Now, I do find this to be a clever twist on the marble platformer formula. You have a balance between what makes an egg, and you have these sort of fun controls. This demo doesn't have any co-op or Steam Workshop, obviously, but that stuff is coming in the full release, which will be March 10th, 2026. This is a game that I'm going to be picking up day one, and I highly recommend you try it. All right, the second game that I really enjoyed is called Luna Abyss. This is actually an updated demo. There was a demo back from June 8th, 2023, and that part of the demo is still available. It is the first chapter in the demo, but a new chapter has been added for this particular demo, and it really shows you kind of the breadth that this game will have. Overall, it's a very generous demo with these 2 chapters. One of them clocked in at about 40 minutes for me. I think I spent over an hour with the demo in total, but the game itself, I kind of liken it to Metroid Prime meets Returnal meets New Doom. It has the lock-on from Metroid Prime. It has the sort of bullet hell aspect from Returnal. And overall, it's kind of wrapped in this New Doom aesthetic. It's black, white, and red all over. You're in these brutalist alien megastructures. Sometimes the world does get a bit visually repetitive, especially in Chapter 1. Chapter 2 does add some more like open air sections, and it did relieve my concern quite a bit. But going towards the end of that first chapter, I was a little worried. Now, the level design is extremely linear. This is not a Metroidvania, so that probably added more of the concern of the game being repetitive. But overall, this is a really fun game that gave a lot of that sort of PS360 era vibes. When it comes to the combat, early on, it feels pretty trivial because you do have lock on and you can just sort of strafe as you spam the shoot button. But it gets a lot more interesting in Chapter 2 when you have to deal with more of that bullet hell aspect and defending yourself against multiple enemies. Now, the end of the demo, the end of Chapter 2, crescendos with this big boss fight that was kind of the real gut check of the demo. This is where things get serious. Like I said, you're dealing with bullets from everywhere. I think this shows sort of the best version of the game. But yeah, overall, this is a very generous sampling for a demo. Like I said, I finished the first chapter in about 40 minutes. I think the entire demo was over an hour with the 2 full chapters available. Most people are kind of with me. This game has sharp combat, constant pressure, and I think it's one to look at as possibly going to be one of the best shooters of 2026. I'm really excited about this game. Again, I'm going to pick this one up day one. I highly encourage you to try the demo and see if it's something that you would enjoy too. All right, Tech Gang out. Goodbye.
Hey, James here from Games Revealed, and yeah, I just dove into the early 2026 Steam Fest and came out with 3 games I think are worth talking about. So before we get into it, I'll just have to say there's actually a lot of good games that came out this time around that at least were interesting to me. I find horror-based, first-person shooters, action, even some like 2D side-scrolling stuff was really good, I have to say. But there was a couple things. There's some anime ones that were okay, but these are the 3 that I found were interesting the most. Starting out with Voiding Bound. If you've played Slime Rancher or Slime Rancher 2, this is going to feel very familiar, but with some real twists. It's space themed. You wake up on what feels like a station. Well, it's space themed in the beginning, that is. And the opening is a little by the books, but once you get past that, it picks up fast. You walk around, do a couple of intro quests, and then you pick your first creature. And yeah, it feels very Pokemon-esque. You've got creatures with attributes, you can evolve them, upgrade their strength, and it looks like their appearance changes as they level up too, which is kind of fun. But here's the twist: you don't just command them, you get on a platform, you get on a platform, you get into the creature and start controlling it directly. You get dropped into the world and have to clear out infection, kind of like a Tar situation in Slime Rancher, if you're familiar. Third-person combat, not a gun exactly, but you're shooting. It's a weird combo that somehow works. It definitely was weird because you were controlling the squishy little creature in front of you, kind of shooting things in a very rapid succession, and you could reload and everything. The difficulty balance is a little off right now. Everything is easy until you hit the boss, and then it spikes. It caught me off guard because I've been coasting in that game the whole time. It was felt like a very easy game, but it's a demo, so that's fixable. It's not quite as cozy as Slime Rancher, a bit more intense, but it's still in that zone where you can sit back and enjoy it. Definitely one I'd come back to, especially on Steam Deck. If it runs well, worth a try during the Steam Fest for sure. I'd definitely try it out, and it might be good. to buy too. Who knows? My second game was Armatus or Armatus something. Who knows how to pronounce it? I'm sure someone else does. This one starts weird, almost gives you a Destiny vibes, but then it reveals itself as a third-person roguelike. Think Destiny meets a dungeon crawling with a horror edge. You're fighting demonic creatures, clearing levels, stacking power-ups as you push deeper and deeper through the dungeon as the world builds out, as there's sections. The graphics are solid, it's Unreal Engine, but they've done enough with their own models and abilities that it feels like it's not a stock Unreal shooter. It actually has its own identity, which is rare for any titles using Unreal these days. Actually, I would say even Voiding Bound was Unreal. In fact, all the games on my list are Unreal, and it definitely thinks I feel like things are getting a little better in this front. They're still relying on some things too much, and hopefully they can polish it because these are demos, just remember. But I had a lot of fun with this one. If it lands in the $20, maybe $30 range, I think it's an easy pickup. At 60, probably not, but at a higher price, but at the right price, this could be a sleeper hit. And I just had fun. I couldn't stop playing it. I thought I was going to get to the end. I still didn't. I don't know if I ever died. I played it for about 30 minutes, but it was really fun. Definitely recommend at least trying out the demo to see if it's what you like. Then game number 3 is Cthulhu Cosmic Abyss. And I gotta say, I'm a big Cthulhu fan. Love the lore, love the books, love everything about this horror aspect. This is an investigative horror game, at least what I played of it. I didn't get super deep into it, but what I saw impressed me. You start on a boat, drift into this bio-like area, and end up exploring a house, investigating clues. The atmosphere is thick, very tense, very thematic. If you're into Cthulhu stuff, you're going to love the vibe. One interesting thing is at the start, you can choose between investigating on your own or having an AI assist you. There's even a character who tells you not to trust the AI, which I thought was a great touch. I didn't get to see how deep the AI integration goes, but it's a cool concept that I know it will probably turn off some people and maybe intrigue others. If you're into Myst style investigation or love Craftian horror, give this one a shot. If horror is not your thing, maybe check out Voiding Bound and Armatus. Well, Armatus is kind of horror-like too, but Voiding Bound is not. So those are my 3 picks from the early 2026 Steam Fest, all free to try right now. So go grab those demos, try them out, let us know, or I guess let High Tech know in the comments below. I'm always curious. I'll be keeping an eye out for you guys' comments on this. Peace out.
Hello everyone, my name is Phawx. Steam's Next Fest is coming to a close. When it first started, there was a game that had come out that, truthfully, a lot of people have already talked about prior to this, and I feel like Steam Next Fest is a celebration of new and exciting games that are coming out that are not getting attention. So I want to pivot away from games that I've already talked about and select 2 other games that I went through and looked. One of them is probably a little bit bigger than a lot, so it's probably already getting attention, but I am really fascinated by where this is going. This is coming from the original creators, some of the original creators of Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, and it's called Dark Haven. This game basically has foundational Diablo-like roots. It feels like a Diablo game. However, as I started playing through it, all of the other parts that are interesting to it is that they are grafting on survival and crafting on top of this very Diablo-like game, which is fascinating to me. And some of the examples that they gave that I have been able to prove is that you can deform the terrain and just kind of dig into it so you can trap monsters or do whatever else you want. But another cool thing that you can do is, like, if there's a lake and there's treasure or something that you want to get, you can actually trench out a lake and dump out all the water so you can just walk over and pick it up. And because it's a survival and crafting game, this does have jumping, just general jumping, which typically isn't in Diablo games. So at its foundation, it has Diablo bones with this survival crafting thing on top of it. It still seems like it's very early days yet for this game. I only put a few minutes into it, but it does very much feel like a very good Diablo game. And it remains to be seen how much the survival and crafting part of this comes out. But at the moment, all of the Diablo-like functionality of it feels like Diablo, and then all the terrain deformation and all the characters interacting with that seem to be there right now. Super interesting game. Definitely keep your eye on this one. This is one that I'm very interested in. Another game that I think that a lot of people may have passed by is a game called Truckful. This game is super interesting to me. Played for about 10 minutes. You are in it. It's an isometric viewpoint. It's not quite tilt shift insofar as the camera lens, but there is an effect that's going on that is pleasing to my eye. It is pleasant. It has been pleasant to kind of just drive through and upgrade your truck as you're going along and filling your truck and doing deliveries and stuff. But there is a story unfolding so far in the game. This game is pretty interesting. I'm a big fan of the art direction. I really like the idea of you as a protagonist, you as the playing character, are basically just a truck. So you're just driving through and upgrading your truck. So there's this progression system that has RPG-light elements to it, insofar as what you need to do to be able to traverse further and do other stuff. You know, upgrade your lights on your truck to be able to see into dark forests and stuff. So there's some interesting things going on here. And so far, the presentation is a cut above what a lot of other stuff has done. There's a lot of really good games that have fantastic art direction and also sell it pretty well. There are some honorable mentions, but right now I think I'm just going to leave it at those two games that I'm going to nominate at this time as Steam Next Fest closes.
How's it going, high-tech low-life viewers? My name is Jimmy Champagne. I run the channel Deck Ready, and I am here today to tell you about two demos. The first game I played is called Cargo Hunters, and it's an extraction shooter that is PvE, so you can play it with friends, but there's no PvP. So if you like arc raiders, you're not going to be able to fight other people, and that's what I'm looking for on the Steam Deck. I like that Arc Raiders runs on the Steam Deck, but if you get into PvP a lot like I do, it's not the best game to play on the Steam Deck. So I look for single player ones. That's what this is. The plot setup is like if the Asylum made WALL-E, because all of the humans have abandoned Earth and you play as a robot who's scavenging all their stuff for them up in space. And the cool twist is that you can replace the body parts on your robot to increase stats of how you want to play the game. So if you want better aim, you pop on a certain arm. If you want better iron sight accuracy, you pop on a different head. And you can do all sorts of cool stuff like put on helmets and hard hats and humanoid clothes because you're a humanoid robot. The thing that really makes it stand out for me, besides its tight shooting, is the fact that the aesthetic of it makes it feel like a PSP era game. It reminds me of Metal Gear Acid, Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, even a little bit of Peace Walker, because the missions aren't that long. And the best part is it runs at a flawless 60 FPS on Steam Deck. I've been playing the demo for hours and hours and hours, and there's so much content in there. So if you're like me and you're looking for an extraction shooter to play on your Steam Deck, this is a great pick. There aren't a lot of picks, but even if there was, this would still be a great pick, I promise. The second game I'm bringing to the table today is called Grind Survivors, and I know, who needs another Vampire Survivors clone, but I will say I missed the boat on the big wave of Vampire Survivors clones. Like, I still play the original. This is the first non-original Vampire Survivors game that's really stood out and done something unique and feels different. The aesthetic immediately pulled me in. It's like a mix between Doom, Helldivers 2, and Warhammer 40k. It's got equal amounts of all of those, and another cool thing is that when you boot it up for the first time, it asks you if you want to handle the shooting or if you want it to play like Vampire Survivors, where you just move around and your character automatically shoots, and it's presented as a difficulty option. So I thought that was cool. And on top of that, they have a full-on Destiny or Diablo style loot system where, you know, there's color-coded loot that you find for killing demons, and then when you get back to your base after you die or complete a level, you can combine white items to make green ones, or a bunch of green items to make blue ones, or a bunch of blue items to make purple. You can make new gear or upgrade the quality of lesser gear if you like the gun that you're already using. So it's just like really well thought out, and I really enjoyed my time with it. And again, it's another demo that feels like it has enough content to be a full game. There were a lot of those. I'll throw in one more for good luck. Dungeons of Dusk feels like it's made for Steam Deck. This is a hardcore classic style dungeon crawler RPG. I can't believe they took the first person shooter Dusk and turned it into this, and it worked super well. I mean, the enemies are creepy as hell, man. Like, the rats look photorealistic and they're huge, so they kind of like scared me a little bit. There's also these chainsaw wielding guys. You have a melee weapon, you can find guns. It rewards exploration, and I have never really played any games in this genre, so I don't know if it cribs from a lot of other ones or if it's unique, but regardless, I had a ton of fun with it, and it runs well on the Steam Deck, as do all three of the games I talked about today. So yeah, those are my big three recommendations recommendations from Next Fest. If you want to check out my channel, it's called Deck Ready. It's easy to find. So yeah, I'll pass it back to you, High Tech Low Life. Thanks for having me.
Hello, High Tech Low Life here. I've tried out a bunch of demos, but the first demo I want to talk about is Airframe Ultra. It's a sort of strange combination between a vehicular combat racer and a third-person brawler. The gameplay is primarily racing with many different weapons to pick off the ground to use against your opponents, but sprinkled during these races are little areas where you fight to the death, with some of these little arenas forcing you to dismount your vehicle and fight on foot. The game feels great to play, and it feels extremely responsive. That said, outside of the tutorial, the demo is entirely multiplayer, meaning you will have to face off against real players. The game does have a steep learning curve, but honestly, it feels super exhilarating. Just be wary that you'll probably die a lot. It also runs quite well on the Steam Deck. The other major demo I want you to check out is for a game called Alabaster Dawn, developed by the same guys that made Crosscode, and honestly, it kind of plays like Crosscode as well. I thought Crosscode as a game looked pretty good, but Alabaster Dawn looks way better, like miles better. If you're someone that really likes Crosscode, then Alabaster Dawn is going to be very similar, at least at first. I don't know what's going to happen later in the game because this is just a demo, but I'm like 99% certain if you like Crosscode, you'll also like Alabaster Dawn. I feel like I talked about this during the last Next Fest, but truth be told, this wasn't part of the last Next Fest, so yeah, apologies. So those are my two most played demos of the Next Fest, but there is a third demo that's technically part of the Next Fest, but it's kind of a weird situation given that it released so late into the Next Fest, that being the Marathon Server Slam. So let me get this out of the way first. The Server Slam does not work on the Steam Deck due to the fact that Bungie won't enable Battle Eye, so that is worth mentioning. But honestly, I kinda jive with the game. I jive with the game's art style, its unique presentation, and most importantly, just how unforgiving the game is, especially in regards to the PvE enemies. Yeah, honestly, I think the PvE enemies are a little more threatening than the PvP opponents, you know, the other players. Of course, this will likely change as you and other players get more and more powerful, and of course more powerful gear as well. I don't have too much footage of me playing Marathon because this released so late into the Next Fest, but I think it's pretty interesting. Playing out of the gate, it's certainly no Concord 2, that's for sure. Truth be told, everyone's got some great recommendations, and honestly, you should try all of them. So there we have it, all of the demos we've tried out, and let me tell you, some of these look pretty nice. And as the editor of this video, obviously you got to see some of these recommendations first, and I've played some of them myself, and these guys mean business. They know what's up. So of course, if you do want to check out their channels, which you probably have, you can check out their channels in the description down below. There's only a few more days left in this Next Fest, so hopefully you'll take the time to try out some of these games if you haven't already. And if you have any demos that we haven't covered that you really want to recommend to us, please let us know in the comments down below. I'd love to check out more and more demos. And I want to give a shout out to all of my friends that wanted to collaborate with me on this Next Fest video, so check out their channels in the description down below. They have great videos as well, promise. If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos, and if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.